Hi, this is Teresa at Rockledge Gardens. Today we're going to be talking about roses, and with me today is Bernie Peterson. He will be giving you some good hints on how to select your roses and then how to care for them here in Brevard County.
Hi, I'm Bernie Peterson. I'm the production supervisor here at Rockledge Gardens, and today we're going to have a little talk about success with roses in Central Florida. And I'm going to stress that it begins with the choices that we make from the very beginning when we first decide to grow roses. And we want to try to emphasize that we should make our choices with our brain rather than with our eyes and our nose. So rather than going out and looking at the prettiest flower and buying that one, also try to make sure that it's one that we're going to be able to grow depending on our level of expertise. So some of the choices we have to make, the first one is probably, why do we want to plant roses? What is the purpose of the plant? Most of us, I think most rose growers like to grow them for the flowers, for cut flowers. And that would mean you're going to be looking at selecting a hybrid tea or possibly a grandiflora rose. On the other hand, some folks like to use roses in their landscape. And for those, we would use shrub roses or floribundas, maybe polyanthas or climbers. Other choices that we have to make are when we actually go to buy the roses are rootstocks. And here in Central Florida, there are two rootstocks that we can use. One is the Dr. Huey rootstock, which is the same one that is used throughout the United States. And it does okay for Florida. It will produce a plant with a lifespan of maybe 4 or 5 years if it's well cared for. But a better choice for Florida is actually the Fortuniana, or double Cherokee rootstock. And this is a rootstock that's used only in Florida, rarely used outside of Florida. But it is particularly well suited for our sandy soil and our hot summer conditions, because it is resistant to nematodes. The third choice is own root roses, and many of the shrub roses are available on their own roots. That is, they're not grafted at all. And for knockout roses and home run roses, the very hardy shrubs, that typically works out very well. Aside from just making decisions concerning the roses themselves, where we're going to plant them in our yard involves some important decisions too. And we need to select a site in the yard that gets at least a half a day full sun, has freedom from competition from the roots of trees, palms, and other large aggressive plants, including the lawns. Roses don't grow well in the lawn area unless the grass is kept well back. Also need to provide lots of space for the rose to grow and room for air to circulate. A rose planted in the corner of a backyard fence, if it's a wooden fence and the breeze is blocked from two sides, that makes kind of a bad spot for a rose unless we set it way out away from that corner, because the air can't circulate very well and it leads to disease and pest problems. The other thing that we run into problems sometimes with roses, if we plant them as a foundation planting under the roof line of the house and there are no gutters, the rain pouring off the edge of the roof and dripping down from dew in the summer especially will lead to disease problems also. So those are all important factors in selecting where to plant the rose. If we've taken all those things into consideration and made some good decisions, we should be on our way to selecting a good rose, and one that will do well for us. Okay, let's talk a little bit about how actually to plant the rose. And soil preparation is something that you definitely do want to do with rose bushes. It's more important with roses probably than most plants. And there's many, many different ways you can do it. It's a little bit like cooking. Different gardeners have different recipes, and more than one way can be good. One simple way that we recommend here at Rockledge Gardens is to use, with each rose bush, either half a bag of our planting mix or a half a brick of cocoa peat. And you mix that real thoroughly with the soil that comes out of the hole. And along with that, use some of this rose tone. And this is an organic fertilizer for roses. We've had great success with it over the years. And you'll use part of it to plant the rose, and you'll have some left over to fertilize the rose later on. And this contains things like bone meal, manure, and it keeps you from having to add too many different things into the planting hole. Really gets them off to a good start. So after we've got our hole prepared and ready to set the rose in, it's very important to set it in at the proper depth. Most rose bushes that you buy are going to have a graft union, which is this rather knobby area on top of this stem, and that should not come into contact with the ground. To take the rose out of the pot, we simply place our hand over it like this, turn it upside down, and then remove the pot like so, and then gently put our hand on the bottom of the root ball and set it into the hole. Once again, making sure that it's at the right depth. And at this point, we would take the soil that we've already prepared and use that to backfill around the plant. And then we'd be ready to water in thoroughly, making sure we eliminate all the air pockets. Planted the plants, it's then time to mulch, and roses do appreciate a thick mulch more than most plants. And it can be up to 3, even 4 inches thick. However, the mulch should not actually touch the plant in any part. So you keep it scraped away from the trunk of the plant, but covering the root zone helps keep the soil cool, helps keep weeds away.